Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of our Overwatch show, which is now titled Let's Break It Down. I am your host, Nathan Grayson, and I am, as usual, joined by Cecilia D'Anastasio and Heather Alexandra.
I want to preface this episode by saying that I just got a Symmetra play of the game. I really want that to color the rest of this conversation.
She's very, very proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
She got it right before we started recording.
Yeah, and now she literally says it when she enters rooms. Granted, I only have one example of this, but it happened.
Yeah, it just happened right now.
Fear me.
I don't know about
But yeah,
that.
oh yeah, another special thing about today is that we're all in the same room.
We're in a booth. I'm touching Nathan on the shoulder.
Which is weird because I'm actually incorporeal. That shouldn't be possible.
No, he's part ghost. His dad was Ghost Dad.
Yep.
And I shouldn't be able to touch him, but I can, which means one of us is dead.
It actually just brings me immeasurable pain.
Yes.
But I don't tell people that because I don't want to make them uncomfortable. So anyway, today we are talking about all of the recent changes to the game. Obviously, the holiday update dropped, and it's got some fun stuff in it. It's got a new brawl. It's got some new emotes, costumes.
It's got a really bad Roadhog skin.
Cecilia hates the Roadhog skin, despite the fact that the gun is a present.
It's a present from Junkrat.
That's cute.
No, that's fine. Yeah,
That's
but
cute.
I don't know. The colors are a little off, but he does have that little Rudolph the Red-Nosed belly button.
And his hook is a sharpened candy cane.
What's not to like, Cecilia D'Anastasio?
Okay, the colors, the design, I just think it's bad. I think it's a disgrace to Roadhog.
I think you have a very particular vision of Roadhog that may not even be shared by Blizzard.
He's just a shy emo teen.
Oh, well, he comes out of his shell on Christmas.
Yeah, that's true.
He's very into Christmas.
Yeah, he's really into Christmas and like decorating stuff.
Yes, that.
There's a whole side to him that you don't know.
Yeah,
and
it's
you're
gonna come out.
to get to know
There's
it.
gonna be a comic about it. It's gonna be super great.
Yeah, he's also gonna be gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like every other character in Overwatch.
Every character in Overwatch is
But
gay.
we knew that. Isn't
yeah,
that canon?
that's true.
Yes, 100% canon.
Yeah.
Fired it straight out of the cannon.
Hook, line, and sinker.
All right.
Oh man, we're doing too many puns. I'm sorry, everybody.
But yeah, no.
We gotta spread them out.
Christmas update.
Yeah.
What are
and
our
so
general
the
thoughts
other
about the
thing-
Christmas update?
The Christmas update itself, I mean, I don't know. I think it's all right. I'm kind of, I guess, a little bit underwhelmed compared to the other like seasonal updates.
I think the Halloween update kicks its ass.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I totally like this brawl more than the Halloween
Are you sure?
brawl.
No,
I'm
Junkenstein.
totally sure.
Junkenstein. I love Junkenstein.
That's because you're like a diehard FPS person.
All right, you caught me.
Yeah. Right, but I feel like what is the maze brawl called?
The Snowball offensive.
Right, the snowball. I feel like that's got the more like MOBA side of Overwatch covered. Like I love the teamwork aspect. I love the one-hit kills. I love Eco Point Antarctica with 6 people teams instead of just like 1 to 3 people teams. It creates a lot of tension. It's really nerve-wracking. I love it. Nathan and I actually streamed it a few days ago.
And getting to the bottom of this sudden outpouring of love for that mode, Cecilia was good at it. And I don't think a lot of other people are good at it. So
Well, it's a
maybe
little-
that factors.
It's a little tricky,
bit.
though, because there's that risk-reward thing, right? I think a lot of people are used to playing Overwatch really, really fast. Or at least with most characters, they're used to keeping a pretty fast pace. And, like, in Snowball Offensive, you miss your shot, like, holy shit, go find some snow.
Right.
And if you're not careful, if you pick that snow up at the right time, or the wrong time for the opponent, wrong time for you,
Yeah.
you'll just be a sitting duck and get your like head domed by like a nice snowball.
Man. Yeah, that's the other thing they added in this update is people's heads just get caved in
Yes,
by hard
very
hits.
violent.
Stop lying!
It's really
the most
messed
violent
up.
update ever.
What I really like about it is that in order to actually pick up snow to accumulate a snowball and then shoot an opponent, you have to be looking down at a pile of snow. So anyone can just come up around you and just knock your dome off in Heather's language.
Man,
I
this
like
is so
what they did
violent.
with the ultimate. I
Yeah,
like the
and
fact
the
that if you
ultimate's
toss that ultimate out, it actually like
Right, you become like
it's-
a snowball machine.
It's
gun.
really cool to have a mode where like your ultimate is like contextually changed. Like it would be so easy for them to be like, well, that ultimate, because it does make sense in that mode too. Just like, hey, you can do area denial, keep somebody rooted down, but that's already happening because you're already doing all the snowball stuff. So screw that. Give everybody faster snowball attacks, and that all of a sudden like that's cool. I like the idea that we're seeing more and more, either like officially like. Because we're going to talk about Symmetra, like, officially, like, hey, you have 2 ultimates, but even then, like, oh, in this mode, like, Mei plays just a little differently.
Yeah, which kind of this might be a digression, but well, It's about May.
Okay.
So it's not that much of a digression.
Sure.
So people are really angry about her holiday skin because they think it's too similar to her normal skin. But what I think redeems it, and I'll speak for Nathan too, I think what Nathan thinks redeems it is the fact that when you turn into an ice block, you're a snowman.
Yeah, it's different. You turn into a snowman.
It's really cute. And I would love for more skins to be getting into that territory. I love this like blurring of lines that I'm seeing more and more with Overwatch and new additional features.
I think the problem with people and their reaction to that skin, I think it's largely that Blizzard didn't really sort of communicate that was what happened. Like when you go through sort of your gallery and you're looking at stuff, you're just like, oh, this is just kind of like a Christmas suit May.
Right.
But like, to the best of my understanding, there's like no button there that you can just be like, oh, show me that new animation.
Mm-hmm.
If you had that button there, right? Like assuming let's say they do this for more skins, right? Which would be awesome. Like, hey, this skin gives you contextual interactions or whatever.
Right.
Like they should have that in there so
like
that people will know. Because I think the problem isn't the skin. I think this is a rare case of Blizzard like failing to communicate something like really cool.
Or maybe they wanted it to be a fun surprise.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah, I think that's
Maybe.
probably because the word about a lot of stuff in these updates does get around by them being discovered, and usually that's cool because people don't expect much. But I think here they looked at the skin's visual appearance and thought, oh man, you want me to spend 3,000 coins on that? No, thank you. But yeah, so that's sort of the fluffier stuff in this particular update. Meanwhile, the thing that stands to actually impact the game for a long time is the big change to Symmetra, who now is very different, albeit still, I think, if we talk about her in terms of what she can do and even her situationalness, a similar character. I think what they did, though, is they purely added utility. They didn't take it away. But she's still kind of, at least in my opinion, she's still a very defensively oriented character. I'm curious, though, about what the two of you think.
You know, I see why you say that she's defensively oriented. I was just playing a lot of Symmetra before we started the show, and I played some attack Symmetra, which, you know,
The technical term is battle Symmetra.
Battle Symmetra.
And while you're playing battle Symmetra, you have to yell battle Symmetra approximately once every 30 seconds.
Battle Symmetra.
No.
So what happened?
Battle Symmetra.
Let me get into this.
Okay.
Let me talk about battle Symmetra.
Tell us all about it, Cecilia D'Anastasio.
So when we were pushing towards the point with an attack team, and you know, when you choose attack Symmetra, people are going to raise their eyebrows. But let me justify this. When you're doing that attack and you have a few enemies on the point, and you're trying to just like make that last push in, her shield has the effect of just like making that happen for sure. Like, because people can just get like pushed away. You can leave room for people on your team to be throwing attacks at them without them being critically injured and having to go all the way back. Like, total game changer on attack maps, I think.
Well, I mean, just before when we were getting ready to record this, you were playing a little bit like you said, and I was watching, and you were getting a lot more active and moving a little bit more forward than you probably normally would if it was sort of the original version of Symmetra.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? It's this thing where she doesn't necessarily function too differently in terms of like how her core mechanics and her core gameplay holds up. Like she's still like run around, hold down mouse 1 if you want, but now mouse 1 has more range. And that all of a sudden gives you a lot more like offensive utility.
Right, but in the same way that you want a Reinhardt when you have an attack team, now I think people are going to want a Symmetra more too.
Yeah, potentially. The thing is, I mean, I don't know. It sort of depends because I think a lot of the things that are good about her on defense just aren't good on attack. Like her turrets are kind of garbage on attack because you're always pushing forward, and so setting up any sort of encampment doesn't really do much for you. And I think that her utility decreases even as you move further through a defense map. Point A, she's great. She's phenomenal at holding down the first point. Yeah. But after that, you kind of end up in a situation where she gets a little bit less and a little bit less the further you get away. And like if you look at, I was doing research before this, and if you look at like meta composition right now, with the whole like triple tank thing or like multiple tanks, you really only have, after you've got your tanks and your healers in, you've only got space for one other character. Yeah. And are you going to have Symmetra, or are you going to have like a high DPS character so that you can have Ana, charge them up? So I think that at this point Symmetra's more, she's still situational. She's just more situational.
I don't know if talking about comp is really the right measure for that, though. Because I think that, like, you're talking about some like really, really, really high level play. Like if everyone's functioning with the character as ideally as possible, then I don't really see any use for Symmetra anymore either, because like you say, she's so situational.
But
I think
what?
that for quick play, like if you're just gonna do a 2-2-2 setup and you're on a defense map, like I think that she's a pretty crucial pick now. She's really fun to play too.
yeah, that's the important thing, I
Yeah.
think, is that she's incredibly fun to play. That said, I do think there's actually interesting functionality for her within all that meta stuff, though.
Well, I think
because
she-
for one, everything's so defensive already, and so there's actually a concern from a lot of people, is that she only stands to make it more defensive, especially with her shield generator. If you already have tanks who are buffed up by Torbjorn or someone like that, and then you stack her generator on top of that, like everyone's so capable of absorbing damage, and so suddenly you're just gonna have these like, well, maybe not, but in theory you'll have these stalemates because no one dies.
Well, that's what I was gonna jump in and say. Is the thing that, depending on who you're sort of combining her with now, like her uptime is really like she has a lot of uptime, and in addition to that uptime, she's able to face off against some surprisingly bursty characters under the right circumstances. Right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like an assured thing, but like if you have, you know, the right confluence of like, hey, Torbjorn tossed you some armor, and you have your shields and whatever, like,
Yeah.
you can face down Reaper. Like, Reaper's high, bursty, like, can do a ton of damage, but if you play your cards right and you have that right confluence of things, yeah, like, Symmetra has a lot of these different ways that she can functionally counter other characters and other heroes. It doesn't always work. I mean, it's still dependent upon a lot of moving parts, but I think you'd be surprised at the certain matchups that she
Reinhardt.
could actually do.
Yeah.
The Reinhardt matchup.
Especially because
we should
Reinhardt,
really talk about this.
she's right out of Reinhardt's range.
The
So
increased
he's
range is
swinging the
great.
hammer at you, and it's like a child. Like you have your hand out on their head, and they're trying to wail on you, and Reinhardt just like can't quite get Symmetra with her extended.
Her beam thingy.
That's sure. I was gonna say beam thing.
The beam thing.
Yeah, well, that's the technical term.
He can't quite get her, but she can get him, and she can just run around him in circles, and then he's done.
It balances out pretty well too, though, because with that additional range, and we were watching this just like all of 20 minutes ago, is if you do mess up your movement and you aren't careful as Symmetra, like even with your shields and everything, you still have relatively low health. Reinhardt like smacks you in the face a couple times, you're going to go down. You have this sort of increased utility against another character, but it's still not something that gives you like an automatic advantage over them, which I think is really nice because I think it's very easy. It's really easy to mess that sort of thing up, but
Yeah.
she's still kind of squishy enough that, you know, sure, she can dance around Reinhardt, but if you get too cocky
Yeah.
or if you press in a little too far, then yeah, they're going to smack you right in the goddamn face.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing, though, you're talking about the beam and the surprising potence of it. I think that she could actually work kind of well with like an Ana ult on her, because the other thing about the beam is it gets more powerful over time.
Yeah.
So if you have Ana stacked with that beam, then you can sap people like that. And so maybe that's not the most like super high level play friendly thing, but you could piss off so many people in like regular modes.
You know what we should do?
What?
I'm always confused. This is maybe off topic. I'm always confused when I'm Anna about what the best calculation is, who I should alt in what situation.
Sure.
Maybe we should do an article on that.
Just hey, so you've gotten your ultimate, now what?
Who should be powered up, comma, get in there. But no, I do have some other like concerns about nu-Symmetra. For one, as much as I like that shield, it moves real quick. Like throwing it and then being like, okay, team, stay behind it. They're like, oh god.
Well, that's why she works so well when you're actually on voice chat. Like, I can't really imagine using her extremely effectively when
No,
you're
not
solo
like in a
queuing.
casual match or anything like it. I don't think it
Yeah.
would work out
Yeah.
without the voice chat.
Yeah, because if you're like, I'm about to throw this shield out, like, come at me, then it's
Right.
going to be effective. But if everyone's, like, scattered around the map, what's the fucking point?
Yeah, they're gonna have some trouble with it for sure. Although it does have some really fun utility just as like a sudden attack blocker. Like if somebody like McCree's up in your face, they just like throw it at them as he's throwing his grenade, and you're like, oh, haha, you wasted that. And then like you win. You're pretty much at that point gonna win a one-on-one with McCree, which is hilarious because McCree's like, I'm the king of one-on-ones. Never mind.
It's great now that you have options to like deal with Diva's ult. Like you have another shield that you can use. My problem with the shield completely random thing to say. I think it's ugly. I think it's an ugly-looking shield, and I want Symmetra to have a nice-looking shield.
Have you seen it shatter?
I have seen it shatter.
It looks really bad when it
shatters.
shatters.
But I want it to look good all the time.
I mean, that is kind of the thing with Symmetra, too. She's like a very elegant-looking
Yes.
character. And so to have this, like, not very elegant-looking shield kind of seems incongruent.
What, do you want, like, little cupids, like, holding it up
Yes,
as it, like, floats off into the sunset?
Bunch of little beautiful
Yeah.
cherubs.
Did you say that and not think to yourself, man, I want that too?
Little,
yeah, no, I did think that.
Little Vishkar Industry cherubs holding it up.
Those are actually interns.
Oh, they're just the interns.
Yeah, it's Vishkar Industry. Yeah, that's how they do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. Is there anything else that the two of you have to say about nu-Symmetra?
I mean, I'm definitely glad that she has a lot more sort of options and utility. I don't know if this changes things significantly. I think it makes her, like, she's a lot more fun to use. Like, we've established that. That's good. I'm happy. I think any time that there are big changes to a character or a new character added, we think, like, okay, what are the broader, like, implications of this? And as far as I can tell, at least for now, it doesn't seem to me like it's going to be changing things too radically.
One of the things that we discussed, Heather, before we started recording was, do you think that the changes to Symmetra make anyone else the most situational or the quote-unquote worst character in Overwatch?
Right.
Do you think it messed up with your sort of like headcanon tier list?
I mean, it's hard to say. I don't really it's when we were having that discussion. It's like I don't know off the top of my head who I say. Like I don't know if I take anybody and say like you are the worst. Like just you need to stop all of it. Like girl, this is just not working out.
Yeah.
I think my thing with Symmetra was, and I think it was most people's concern with Symmetra was that she, like, her value lasted for all of 5 minutes in a match in very specific circumstances. That's changed. But to jump back to what I'm saying, I think, and Nathan, you brought this up a little while ago too. I think she still is very much like, yeah, like, still a little bit more valuable on like first point defense than she's going to be on attack, unless like you're really vicious and really going for it. But I don't know how many people will.
So let me clarify my question, Heather.
Yes.
Who's the worst?
Who is the worst? I don't know. I know who's my least favorite character.
Oh my god.
Yeah, okay, let's go with this one.
I don't like Junkrat.
Your son.
I don't know. He just rubs me the wrong way.
Okay.
You are looking at me like I've sprouted 3 heads.
No. It's fine. We're recording, but gosh, outside these doors.
Oh boy.
Will we have words?
It's fine. We can have that later.
I thought you were suggesting, like, as the walls are soundproof, that you're gonna like do a murder.
Yes,
here.
no one
Like,
will
'cause
hear.
No one can hear it.
No one will hear Cecilia D'Anastasio
Oh my
of
god,
Kotaku
we're done.
killing me tonight, right now. Call someone, please. She has a look in her eyes.
So you didn't hear this, but the beginning of every word that Heather just said spelled out somber.
Sombra. It's a new
Okay,
ARG.
it's getting out of hand.
All right, no, we are
Thank
going
you for tuning in,
bonkers.
everyone. If we survive, then we'll be back at some point in the future. If
Yes.
not, it was nice knowing you. Thank you
Yep.
for being in my life.
Thank you.
Good luck, everybody out there.